Welcome to Stoner Nation, everyone. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a podcast, which is my bad. I haven't been feeling all that great, and I apologize for that, everyone. But today we are going to be discussing some current events that are going on, which I'm really far behind, but we're not going to cover all of what I missed. So what we are going to do is we are going to start off with a couple ads just to get them out of the way. And the first ad is going to be the Kids Guide, which is, alright parents, real talk for a second. America is about to hit a huge milestone. We're coming up on America's 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, grit, sacrifice, and the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen. This is perfect. This is the perfect moment to help your kids understand why this country matters. Not just fireworks and hot dogs, but the story behind it all. There's a free guide called The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday. And it's honestly a great way to introduce kids how America began, who the founding fathers were, what they risked, and why the ideas they fought for still matter today. This guide sends kids back to the moment when brave men signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well they were risking their lives for freedom. It breaks it all down in a way that kids can actually understand and enjoy without watering it down or turning it into boring homework. If you care about raising kids who know where this country came from and why it's worth preserving, this is something you'll want to grab. And the best part, it's completely free with this special offer. You just need to pay $2 for shipping and processing. Just head to freeusabirthday.com. That's freeusabirthday.com. And the Kids Guide to America's 250th birthday for your kids today. America's story matters. Make sure the next generation knows it. And then the next one is going to be for GoFundMe. I am currently working on getting a custom-built studio for the podcast. And in order to do that, I need people to help me out on the GoFundMe. I just need $4,500 and it's done. I'll have a brand new studio, new lighting, new computers, new everything. But in order to do that, I need you guys to go to there we go. Where's my description? Sorry, I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah. I understand how my YouTube works. Yeah. I understand how YouTube works. Why are you giving me a headache? Alright, here we go. Go to gofund.me/BD6482B33. Once again, that's gofund.me/BD6482B33, and the link will be updated into my bios. Now, this benefits two podcasts, by the way, Henry's Chatterbox and mine. But also, don't forget to go buy Skit Trivia by Henry Berner. That's Henry Berner spelled HenryBerner. And buy his book, Skit Trivia, like I said, at www.amazon.com/author/Henry Berner. And all sales and proceeds go to the podcast as well. So don't forget, check out GoFundMe. Save this video, watch it again, go to YouTube, Stoner Nation, Cannabis Lifestyle, Marijuana Tips, and check out the link that will be in the bio as soon as I get around to updating the bio. So, with all that being stated, let's get on to the podcast. So, there's some stuff going on in Virginia, apparently, about a law, an amendment that has been proposed, and the governor proposed some changes, but some key changes weren't done. The title of the article is Virginia Governor Proposes Amendments to Budget Containing Marijuana Legalization Without Suggesting Cannabis Changes. And I'm going to grab a joint. Virginia's governor has proposed amendments to budget legislation that lawmakers approved this week, but those changes do not include alterations to provisions that would legalize recreational marijuana sales. Nor did they address the concerns of advocates who had urged her to cancel out a section that would dramatically increase penalties for public consumption of cannabis, which they say will be enforced in a racially discriminatory manner based on new state data they obtained. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger. Abigail Spanberger, that's one hell of a name, guys. Let's try that again. Yep. Five, seven. Sorry about that. I had a technical difficulty where I was. Now back to what I was saying. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger, Democrat, on Friday sent lawmakers her suggested amendments to the budget bill, which will require the House delegates and Senate to reconvene to approve them before the overall legislation and its marijuana provisions can be enacted ahead of a July 1st deadline for the budget. Lawmakers are expected to do so on Monday. The budget bill passed by the legislature contains provisions that advocates generally support to legalize recreational marijuana sales. But it will also increase the current $25 fine for using cannabis in a public place by 900% to $250, a spike that advocates are calling poverty penalty. The coalition of advocacy groups led by Marijuana Justice this week released new enforcement stats that they obtained from the Virginia Freedom of Information Act that they say proves the legislation has not ended racially based marijuana policing in the state. An analysis on the state information shows that since non-commercial cannabis legalization took effect in Virginia in 2021, 185 white people and 179 black people have been charged with public consumption, meaning that based on the state's population, black people are more than 3 times more likely than white people to face such marijuana charges. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that that's the case at all. I mean, yeah, if you do it based on figures, based like that, yeah, but at the same time, people are stupid. And, people just need to think before they do anything, both sides. I mean, I'm reading 185 white, 179 black. Yeah, there's more white people in that state than there are black people, but the reality is, the only reason why black people are 3 times more likely to be arrested is because they're 3 times more likely to get caught. Not trying to be racist or nothing, but I'm just stating facts. See, I go outside and I smoke all the time walking down the road. Don't care. Don't care. But the reality of the matter is, I don't hide what I'm doing. I'll proudly puff puff. There's a cop going by, whatever. I don't care. Puff puff. I'm gone. I'm not hiding it. That's the difference. Don't hide it. Just be act like you do. Act like you're doing nothing wrong, and people ain't gonna look at you like you're doing something wrong. So I don't believe that that's based on that the larger increase of arrest is likelihood of arrest has to do anything with the color of the people's skin and the population count. I believe it has how people act and respond and handle themselves in certain situations. That's what I believe it is. Spamberger did not alter the penalty increase in her proposed amendments, however, nor did she suggest any changes to the marijuana section of the bill. Marijuana justice and other groups like the ACLU of Virginia National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, Marijuana Policy Project, Drug Policy Alliance, and Latino Cannabis Alliance, among others, recently sent a letter urging lawmakers and the governor not to boost the cannabis penalty, saying it would deepen racial and economic disparities. I do believe the economic disparities part. I do believe that. I do believe that will affect a lot of people across the board. Fact of the matter is, I'm looking at the full board spectrum of this. I'm not looking at, what statistics they. I'm looking at what reality is. Going from $25 to $250 is insane, guys. What's wrong with Virginia on that one? Higher fines and penalties for low-level marijuana offenses are not neutral. Organizations wrote in letters to Spamberger and legislators. They are enforced disproportionately against black and brown communities. Great debt that low-income people cannot afford and can trigger cascading harms in immigration, housing, and education employment. All right, so that's kind of boring because now it's just going into previous interactions between the governor and the legislative branch. It's not worth the time talking about that. So apparently, media outlets and congressmen want to join in pushing for a DEA to live stream the rescheduling hearings for marijuana. The DEA will highlight testimony on marijuana's medical benefits in the rescheduling hearing new filing shows. I wonder if they're going to pull the Gore files out too from the 1930s. That was their baby. Marijuana moment takes asked for rescheduling hearing live stream directly to DEA. Hurry after judge says he won't consider the request. And like I said, congressmen and other media outlets are joining on that request to have it done, and now eventually it's going to have to be done. Marijuana's opponents preview arguments for next week's rescheduling hearing and new filings. Basically, the most important part about this all is hemp THC products will stay legal in South Carolina as lawmakers fail to agree on limits. So there we go. I don't want to make this one quick, but I got burgers and fries waiting for me. I'll be honest, I'm hungry. Famished, starving, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to end it early. I'll do a longer episode next week for the 4th of July. So y'all have fun, peace, enjoy. Stoner Nation love.